everybody. I am on the podcast today with a longtime friend. Here, pull your chair in a little closer. Let's make it a little more intimate. Zero's in here with us. This is the great and powerful Sonny Tong. Those of you who don't know him, you will know him. He is a photographer extraordinaire. He has shot how many pictures of me over my career? I mean, pictures that have both been not in my best. You've seen me at every level of weight gain and shredded abs. And now you're in here in my podcast studio, and it's really cool because the Yardmen just showed up, which is awesome.
I was like, what is that?
So we'll have some of that in the background. Zero's excited because Sonny's here, and he hasn't met Sonny. Or no, you have met. No, you haven't met Zero.
No.
Well, there's no time like the present to have this dog. Sonny, what is going on with you? What's up? What's the latest? You're about to launch a podcast. That's kind of why you're in this office, learning from the amateur himself, the guy that basically doesn't know what he's doing but just continues on doing. Tell me, what's going on, man?
So, I mean, it's just, I would say, I mean, I took a break of photography.
Why? Why would you take a break of something you're so great at, you know? Like, why?
It was more of a career change. I wanted to get into aviation.
Where did that come from? I remember you told me about that in the new gig, and I was like, wait, what are you doing?
It's social media, this whole influence. Just, you know, I was just scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, and I saw a flight attendant that was cute. I was like, okay, let me follow him, check him out. And then I just looked at my own personal career and said, hey, I'm a photographer that traveled around. I went to New York. I've been to New York. I've been to Miami. And now and Vegas, and I've done photo shoots there. So if I could become a flight attendant, I can travel the world and bring out my photography out. And so that's mostly the main reason why I wanted to become a flight attendant.
And so how long did you do it, and what was that experience like? I always look at flight attendants, and I'm like, man, what a crazy job to wake up, get on a plane, and it's kind of like a restaurant in the air, right? Like you're in the hospitality industry, and you have to deal with people, good or bad, on the daily.
I never got the flight attendant job. I did get into aviation, but it was just a basic check-in and security service person. So basically, it was just checking people in for their flights, and then also, if I wasn't that role for the day, I would do telling pilots where to go and where to land and stuff like that. So I felt like that was a stepping stone to get into that job and that position. But then I realized that wasn't really was for me, or I would say the company I worked for was not the company I wanted to work for.
Sure.
So that changed my opinion on aviation.
How long were you involved in aviation before you were like, I need to get back to photography? That's what I do.
I would say I was in there for a good year, and then shit happened.
Yeah.
My life turned just literally in a whirlwind of personal stuff going on. So I had to stay there a little bit, but then realize, hey, this is not what I signed up to be. And then I moved on, and now I'm just trying to get back on the horse and get into photography. But losing a year feels like I felt like I lost 10 years, because this I don't know, this type of business now is so advanced that I can't even catch up. I feel like I'm just trying to run, and it's going further and further and further.
Trust me, I feel you on that. The entertainment industry has shifted and changed so violently and so quickly it's almost that many of us that worked in the industry for the last 20 years are displaced within the industry that we've been, part of for so long. I get it, man. But here's the thing. It's one day at a time. It's one step in front of the next, and you figure it out, right? You figure out every AI editing app and every, a different thing that photographers are using now. The shift in technology is so profound. What AI is able to do with pictures, what people are able to do with their iPhones, with their mobile device, what kind of photography and even cinema stuff that they're able to. Zero, look at him. Zero wants Sonny to take home. Zero, aren't you my dog? But my point is it can be done, and I'm on this journey to help people, and I kind of feel like it's bringing people into my life that I just haven't reached out to enough over the past couple of years while I've been busy in the Hollywood landscape. But we can do this. You can do this. And I can tell you for sure that we'll do a photo shoot, and I'll be your first photo shoot back and your first podcast. Why not? I'm ready to talk, and I want people to listen. I feel like there's valuable stuff to be taken away from just long form conversation, man, where people just don't spend the time with each other. It's so easy to get bored for 2 seconds and pick up your phone and just start, let me just not be bored. It's so important to be bored. It's where our creativity comes from and new ideas. And it's when you push yourself a little bit. I've seen you work on various different fronts over the years, from kind of like high fashion modeling type photography to headshots and different stuff in between. You have to shoot what makes you passionate, man. Like whether it's models, bodies, headshots, landscapes, going back. You're from Philippines?
I mean, my family's from there. I'm from Orange County.
Have you gone and shot the real side of the Philippines? Like, you could make a coffee table book that would sell like hotcakes of just the real life and the real culture of the Philippines. Not the wine and dine, come take a vacation, but the real faces of the, the cities and the stuff where you visit. I'm interested in it, just having a discussion with you. So maybe you shoot some of that stuff too.
Right. I mean, haven't been there probably before COVID, but then I haven't been there as an adult by myself. It was always like with family and stuff like that. So I was always trying to plan something out with my cousins, because they're more of a family to me than my own family. Not because there's a lot of things that go on. I just personal family stuff. I just I prefer my other family than my own family. If you want to get to, I mean, I've known you for so long, but we never talked about my family before, because that's just a subject I don't care for.
Yeah,
that is another subject that I just.
Let me tell you something though, and take it from a guy like I only basically have a brother and a sister and a dad living on my side of the family. I don't have any other living family members, or at least none that I talk to or that want to talk to me. So what I've done is, my chosen family is the one that lifts me up and helps me survive. You're part of that family. We got a small circle, even though we're far apart. You've been a part of my life for, 15 years or so or more. It's the people that care about you when it's difficult to care about you that should be your family. I was talking to somebody last night about this, and I said, it was actually my manager. I go, hey, I'm so grateful to have a person like you in my life that shoots the shit straight with me and says, look, you're too this, you're too that, you need to change this, you need to change that, you're spiraling out of control, get it under control. It's important to have people in your life to say, hey man, you're not doing it right. You're not living right. You're not making the right decisions, because if not, you end up being a shitty person because you didn't have good enough friends that were willing to speak up, And so your chosen family is as blood related as your blood family, as far as I'm concerned, and they show up more often than not. And within your family, and I'm speaking from experience, people can just decide that they just can't deal with you today. And when we need people to deal with us the most, there's some of those times, it makes you stronger, but it also makes you reach out and search for a different family. I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by, the Supernatural gang and that fandom, which gave me a lot of life and a lot of hope and a lot of drive to continue through many of hard times, even as simple as being able to earn a paycheck when you can't pay your bills. Creation Entertainment, that company that does the conventions, they've consistently kept me alive. That's part of my family.
Right.
That's part of my family. They put food on my plate. They help me, take care of my kid and make sure my wife is safe. That's family. Family's you calling me yesterday and now we're here. Like that's what's up. But I want to talk a little bit about the change in LA. Was that earthquake?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. We just had. This is how tangent-y I get on these things. We just went through the worst storm in 90 years, apparently, in Los Angeles, preceded by last year, which we had like 40 straight days or something of rain. And now we get this storm where it dropped like 12 inches in like 12 hours in Bel Air. We got mudslides, houses sliding off the hill. LA is falling apart. Right. I don't know where our infrastructure, our politicians, our people are, but we need some help out here in LA. That's my public message.
I mean, I've been seeing these memes and these like just funny TikToks and Instagrams of like, we need help in LA. It's hilarious because like, I mean, I'm born and raised in California, so I mean, I know how to drive, I know how to do this stuff. It's like, but it's like, it's true. Like these people are like, they're scared of the rain. They don't know how to drive. I mean, we don't know how to drive in general anyways, but it's like gets worse with water, I guess. So, it's just hilarious.
At least people will put down their phones and drive in the rain, not texting. We'll just take that as a massive step forward because at this point, there's so many people texting and driving. Like, I don't know if people are looking at the road. Well, have you seen any of these videos of the new Apple headset and people driving with it?
I haven't seen anyone drove with it, but I've been seeing like them just like ordering stuff, or they're just sitting in New York in the subway train. And
have you seen WALL-E, the animated film?
Yes.
This is the beginning of WALL-E, where they just sit in a chair, put their feet up, and there's a screen in front of their face. I'll have a milkshake. I'll have some French fries. I'll watch some TV.
Right.
We are at that point where people are not going to want to be without their headset because it's access to their socials, it's access to their email, it's access to all these things on their face, and they don't have to take it off to live their normal life.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's going to be replacing our phones. Everyone is literally they're so hooked on their phones. I mean, when you say texting, I'm like, well, now we're not even texting. We're not calling. They're just on social media doing the texting and the calling and the FaceTiming. But now you're going to have VR controlling the whole thing because you're literally going to probably tell Siri, hey, can you turn on my car? Can you drive me to this? And literally have the thing on my face and just have it do its thing. I mean, with that price tag, yeah, I would definitely I'll use it as I can, but I mean,
look, I'd be happy to have a set and try them out, but $3,500?
Yeah, I can't.
How much is the most expensive Mac like workstation? Like the best computer you could buy is like $7,000, and that can you can do real-time graphics design and things like that. So I don't know if it's the price. I feel like the price tag is both hurting the sale of the product, but also is like gotten people enticed enough. Like, why is it so expensive? I really need this thing.
Right.
I don't want to be last, And how long until, like Elon Musk has that Neuralink thing that he's developing, trying to put in brains.
Starlink
the brain. He's got some brain.
Yes,
that's supposed to
read about that.
Literally help people that are born without the use of their limbs walk and use their limb. Like crazy things if it works. But to me, I'm like, how long until Apple's headset is just in your head? It's just a SIM card you slide behind your ear, and here we go. That's it. Like, I'm just looking at you right now, and I'm blinking my eye, and I'm checking my emails, and people are like, wait, are you ticking? No, this is just me on the computer in my brain, and I feel like we need to refocus on humanity.
I mean, every time I talk to this, generation, Gen Z or whatever, and then I talk about, like, because I work in a coffee shop. I work with kids or,
Younger
minors /
folks.
Yeah. I would say. And I would say when they ask me my age, I kind of just ask them guess because I'm over my 30s, but I don't look at it. I mean, bless me.
I mean,
don't know.
you look like a young guy. Like I feel like I'm talking to a millennial here, like
I mean, I am, but it's funny. I would be like, we would talk about like how it was like growing up as a kid, where you had to go outside and play outside with your friends, or you go on the road, play pretend delusional stuff, and then when you see a car, you're literally yelling car because that's how we grew up.
Yeah.
And this generation, it's like, let's have an iPad, let's have that Vision Pro, and that's how we're gonna grow up now. And it's I think it's sad, but that's
it's here. It's more than sad. It's blatantly bad for the young people because look at all of the statistics over the last couple of years. Now, I know much of the country was locked down during COVID, and that added to a lot of the stuff, but so many parents were eager to, do whatever they could to survive that time. So kids were on screens, kids were on the couch, kids were eating snacks, kids were being lazy, kids weren't getting outside. And that hasn't changed. That is like the way of life now.
right.
And now we have a massive obesity problem in this country. We have a massive health problem in this country. We have diabetes like up a crazy percentage. We have reading and math skills down a crazy percentage. Why? What's the big deal? Why can't we just, invest in each other? I've been saying this thing lately where I'm like, I want to invest in the citizens of this place. Like, we need to build each other up on the same level. Spending some time with my longtime buddy, Martin Snow, and boxing trainer, he said something to me that he read in a book, and obviously I was very affected by it. But he said, your enemies are never eye level. And what that means is that it's not me and you that are versus each other, or I can't have a podcast, you can't have a podcast. Everybody can have a podcast, but we're busy fighting each other in this kind of tribal political environment, when in reality, we should be doubling down on each other and investing in each other. Because I say this all the time. No matter who your president is, no matter who your favorite politician, VP, this, that, the other thing, governors, mayors, when your life falls apart, guess who's not sending you a card or a text message or a phone call or a pat on the back or a hug? None of them. So if we're not here for each other, then nobody's here for us, and we're going to kind of tear this great union apart. And it starts with just having humanity for your fellow humans. That's it. Somebody asks for something, try to help them out. Lend a hand, reach out and give people a little space and allow them to mess up and recover, right? You remember when back in the day, Britney Spears shaved her head? Everybody's like, Britney, oh my God, what's wrong with her? And then 6 months later, it was like, well, we really, want to root for her now all of a sudden.
Right.
What happened to that? We cannot root for each other anymore. We've gotten to a point where it's like, you said one thing wrong. You are the worst person on earth. Like,
right.
What? I can say a million things wrong. And then because I'm not married to every one of my ideas, you could shift my viewpoint. You could shift. We could debate. I could leave this office thinking about the world in a completely different way. And that's what I hope happens every day to me. Every day I hope I go somewhere and somebody completely shifts the way I think, because the world's got a lot of thinkers in it. And if you're only trapped inside your head and your one way of thought, you're missing out on a complete experience,
Right. And I think because of how it is now with social media and TV, well, TV's gone, but it's all about now everyone's looking at, it's all a reality show. I mean, politics is a reality show.
I know. The news is a reality show.
Everything's like a reality show. And it's like, I would say even the podcast is a reality show.
100%.
But it's crazy how we're now so used of that kind of show that we want it in our lives. And it's everywhere and anything. It's like, just so people can quote unquote entertain. Yeah. And it's sad. And it's like, and it's saying when you said something about like the whole Britney thing, it's like, yeah, we root for her when she's down, but then when she's acting how she is normally, we're trying to bring her down at the same time. And it's like, I mean, I've been a biggest fan since day one. I'm still a big fan. I mean,
did you see Miley at the Hold on, will you continue? But remind me to talk about the Grammys.
I mean, now Taylor Swift has replaced my Britney for a minute just because she is relevant and whatever. But
She is so great.
I mean, she's great.
She
I mean,
is so great.
she's great in what she is. She's a household name, basically.
She's America's sweetheart billionaire.
Yeah.
That's what she is.
And, you know, to me, it's like we're just want this drama in everything we do now. So that's why it's like we bring them up, we bring them down, we congratulate, it just...
You want to hear my theory? I have a theory, and I don't know if it's right. And I think life... So I've kind of, for years now, defined human beings as like opportunists of convenience.
I know a lot of people... I mean,
how can we make it easier and faster and quicker and less work involved? And what that leads to is making everything in your life easier. It's easier if I just stay on the screen. It's easier if I stay on the computer. It's easier if I stay on the phone. I could just sit here on the couch. I could just grab a snack. I could just be comfortable. The heater's on. It's warm. I can go to my room, cover myself in blankets. Everything feels so good, and it's so easy to feel good. We have lost the ability to struggle. Completely, people have forgot what it's like to suffer and struggle a little bit. And so now any little comment on social networks sets people off. Any little comment by the opposing politician sets somebody off. It's just people saying words. People misspeak all the time. Let's not hold them to it. And let's challenge ourselves. And this, goes right back into the whole movement of the thing I'm doing. Look at that. It just zooms in and out. It makes this so interesting. The movement that I'm doing with this kind of cold plunge and heat exposure and working out and eating healthy, I'm really trying to infect some people with this way of life, because what it's given me is extreme mental clarity, obviously a better physical form. When you're better to yourself, you're going to look in the mirror and just be happier with what you see, and you're going to live longer. So if you struggle a little bit, what I've found is I get in the cold water. It's like between 50 and 60 degrees every morning for 3 minutes. It's uncomfortable.
Did you like the whole ice bath type of thing?
I have just a cheap goat trough that I bought, and it stays cold. It stays at about, between 50 and 60 because it's cold out here. But in the summer, I'm going to have to figure out something else. I am addicted to the cold now. Like, I must have it. I wake up before coffee, before the sun comes up, and I get in that cold water for 3 minutes, and I share it with the subscribers I have on Instagram and the different people that I'm trying to show, like, look, if we make ourselves uncomfortable, if we try to do something difficult, first thing in the daytime, whether that's working out, whether it's getting out of your bed and just standing up and sitting back down, some people, that is a huge step forward. Do something difficult so the rest of your life seems a little bit easier. And there's so much science behind things like cold plunge and heat exposure, like lowers your heart rate, it gives you this big boost of dopamine. All these things that people are taking, pharmaceuticals, black market pharmaceuticals, drugs, to achieve this thing that's free in cold water.
Right.
Literally free. It's changed my life in the last 40 days or 45 days remarkably. And I have to, I have to share it with people. Because if I don't, I'm wasting all this good knowledge that I'm obtaining from... I'm some of your favorite social network scientists and neurologists like Andrew Huberman and Peter Attia. And these people study this stuff, and they're giving it away for free on Instagram. Like stuff that you would have to pay money and sit down with a doctor and beg them to even approach any of these angles. A doctor is going to say, this is what's wrong. Here's the prescription to fix it. Or here's what's wrong. We have to have surgery. But wait a minute. There's alternatives to that. Cold water is one of them. And so before I go any more into this, suffer somehow. Force yourself. I think my dog just farted on me. It could be my breath. I'm not sure. It's so sad. But make yourself suffer at some point. For me, it's helping depression. It's helping just so many different things. And I need people to experience it. I know it's hard. Nobody wants to get in cold water. I understand that. Every morning I hate it. But as soon as I get out, I'm so grateful. I'm so full of gratitude. My body is like vibrating. I'm spitting. My body's like vibrating. I feel spectacular. And then I follow that up with a quick 30-minute workout, 10 minutes in the sauna, 15 minutes in the sauna. And you're a different person by 8 a.m. The rest of the day changes from then on out. I can look at people with a smile. I can offer my hand. I can offer some help because I went through something difficult and overcame it to start my day. I think it's crucially and vitally important for people to remember struggle and suffering is healthy once in a while. It's, nobody wants to be caught in that forever, obviously, but force yourself out of your comfort zone, I mean, I am proof in the pudding. I'm a guy that deals with massive waves of depression, ups and downs in the entertainment industry, my family falling apart, my family coming together, like all these different things that everybody out there deals with on a various basis. The cold water has been the biggest change in my life over the last 40 days. And I'm not trying to be one of these, Instagram, like, look, I'm the toughest guy in the water. I'm not. It sucks. I shiver on Instagram. I'm like, I can't even talk because I'm shaking so much. But it's doable, and it's only 3 minutes. And so to spend 3 minutes in a little bit of agony to make the rest of the 23 hours and 56, 57 minutes great, it's 100% worth it.
I mean, good for you. I would never. I weigh like 10 pounds. I'm not going to. I will watch it afar, or I will watch it on
What about a cold shower? What about taking your normal hot shower, however long you do it, and finishing with 60 seconds of cold water?
I mean, no, I can't even do that because, and it's funny because I just got a new shower head. I love it. It's like the rainfall ones. I love it. I mean, but no, I mean, I'm just the viewer. I will just watch it and just judge
until you get desperate enough to say, I need some help. I need something. I need to level up. I need to feel the next thing in my life, and if I don't challenge myself, it'll never come.
Right.
Everything we want is on the other side of the obstacle. It's like that Stoics book. Ryan Holiday writes this great book about the Stoics, and he breaks it down for normal people, so normal people can kind of understand it. And the obstacle is the way. Like you just told me before, oh man, all this photography and the change and all this technology, I feel like I'm just so far left behind. No, that is your sign that is the direction you need to go. The challenge is where the success lies. It just does. I know I sound like one of these dudes, but I'm not trying. I just read too much in the month of January. I listened to too many people's podcasts, and now here we are, and I want to change the world. So you have to deal with me.
I mean, I've dealt with you too long, but
I don't know if you're getting the best version of me or the worst version of me at 41. I'm not sure what version of this is, but I know this version of me wants to be better for you, for my family, for all the people around me, and I want everybody to come with me on this let's get better thing, Like, that's just it, man. Life is short. We will all eventually be dirt, so let's rock this thing, Let's enjoy every day fully and wholly and have so much gratitude, show up for our friends, be there, help each other out. It just feels better, man. It feels better to feel better. And you can't feel better unless you reach yourself, you lend yourself. I've been sounding a little religious lately, but I've been saying I need to be of service to people. And I think that's something that maybe came from the Bible or a friend told me, but that's just it. I wake up in the morning now and how can I be of service to somebody, whether it be my family, my friends, my colleagues, just whoever. How can I help somebody else besides me today? And that's my whole driving force, and it's changing shit for me. Whether I'm working and earning a paycheck, I don't know, but the inside of me feels really good helping people and trying to help people. Why trying to help myself? Because it holds me accountable.
Right.
Like yesterday, us committing to this moment today held me accountable for this whole day. I was up at 5 a.m. I had to get that stuff out of the way so I could get on to some other things before you got here. You showed up an hour early. Everything worked out, but I was committed to you. And so because I committed to you, I was accountable for myself. And that's one of the things we don't want to do is be accountable for ourselves,
I mean, the only time we would have to be accountable is if, is if you have like a steady job or you have a job because you have to go because that's your paycheck. But I mean, in general, it's, if I didn't have a job or anything else and I wasn't committed, then it would just be like another preaching moment, but I'm never going through it. And for me, I hate when that happens. And I also hate when other people say the same thing.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like, there's all this talk, but no action.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I'm a person that, if I have my mind to it, then I'll do it. But it might take a while, but it's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, and that's when my depression kicks in also, because then I know I'm going through like a journey of when this is going to happen, but then there's these obstacles that come through our ways, and I'm just like, and then it hits, and it's like, and it hits hard sometimes, and it's hard to just get through it. And then once you get through it, then it's just like, okay, cool. Then
you just made yourself stronger, like it really is like, we have such a negative connotation with failure, right? But like, if we don't fail, how do you succeed? If I didn't go on 500 auditions and do poorly, I would never book the one audition. You know what I'm saying? Every one of those 500 times I go, oh man, I got to change that. I got to fix this. I got to work on this. I got to think about that. A failure is like an instruction manual on how to move forward.
Right.
Basically, it's like you fell down the steps so you could get a better look at the stairs you're going to climb and go, okay, I got to do this differently this time around. I don't know. The world is ever changing, obviously, and all these problems are human problems, depression and not feeling motivated and feeling scared and whatever it is, but you keep going no matter what. And that's the thing. And for people out there listening, keep on moving forward. Just put one foot in front of the next and just be here for today. You're not the person you were yesterday, and you can't worry about tomorrow. You really are. We are not defined by our pasts or our past decisions. Today is the only day that really exists. Nothing in the past, we can't change it, right?
Right.
What you can change is you today. Actionable intel. You can actually do activities to change your life today if you want to. But we can't, she said this before, he said that before, and, I got this thing in 6 months that I'm worried about. Like, don't worry about it. Will Smith has a great excerpt in one of his books. And he talks about, like, him going skydiving, and he's, like, crippled in his bed for, like, 3 days before because he's so scared. And he's literally going, why be scared until you are there in the plane and you're getting on it to do it? It's a great point. Somebody told me the other day, they go, you seem stressed out. You seem like you're going through a lot. Do me a favor. Write down the 5 biggest stressors in your life. I wrote them down on paper. He goes, cross out the ones you can't change today. You cannot stress. You can, but you shouldn't stress over what you can't control.
Right.
We choose to, oh man, I wish they didn't think about me like this, or whatever it is. Focus it internally, work on yourself, and that's the one thing you can change. And you can be better for everybody. You can be healthier for everybody, and then everybody will respond and hopefully catch on, But it starts with the self. Let's shift a little bit. I want to talk about photography because that's what I wanted to talk about, really. I'm going to be like an interviewer for a second, about your photography, because I've spent the last 4 years interviewing the biggest stars in the world, and I want to ask you some questions. So,
getting that experience now.
Number one most memorable photography session you ever had. Who was it with? Where were you? What was it like?
I mean,
I know you've been all over the place.
Cohen?
Shut up. Listen, we're gonna make the most memorable photo shoot this week or next week, because do it while I'm in shape. Okay.
It was, I can't even say his name right, but it's Joe Magdaleno.
Yeah, Joe M. We know Joe M.
I photographed him when he guest starred on One Tree Hill.
Wow.
So that was back in the day.
Holy cow.
And then, I let him hit him up on the old school, I think Facebook or whatever. I didn't go through his manager or agent because, he was still a nobody really,
Right.
I mean, he did Spider-Man and stuff like that. But yes, Joe was my gate to photography. I mean, it wasn't.
Knew that. I knew you shot him, but I never knew this story. How far back it goes.
No, yeah, he was already done with One Tree Hill, so that was, I don't know, 5th, 6th season, probably, or whatever season that was. But photographed him. Came over from LA to Orange County and just, just did my normal thing. And he was super nice, super great. We talk. We don't really talk. We text throughout the years and just say congratulations on this thing, happy birthday on this thing. But we never, you know, I've never really had talked to him in a while.
Was it True Blood that really put him on the map? Like, it's kind of like a kind of sexy guy icon.
Yeah, I mean,
he's always been a very sexy, handsome fella. I mean, he's a complete stud muffin, obviously. But I remember really noticing him. I feel like it was on True Blood.
So it was amazing. Like, so I photographed him, and then someone hit me up saying like, "Oh, we're gonna use this photo," or I think him or his agent or something like, "Oh, we need to pitch this photo to True Blood," and then literally overnight, I don't know, I got these texts and calls at like 4 a.m. in the morning from like the UK, everything else, because he got the role of True Blood, and everyone like wanted that shirtless photo / photos for like, oh, he's the next
press releases and whatnot.
So, and I was like texting him. I think he was, probably overwhelmed too with his stuff. But then he did respond, and I said, hey, I need to use these photos for Cosmo, Men's Health, and it literally just got picked up, and that was my first time ever working with like the big magazines, PR, just stuff like that. And then ever since then that was my gatekeep. That was my your way in. My way in. Yeah. Like the door open. Everyone loved the photos. All these agents, all these managers, all these people saw the photo, and they were like, "Oh, I want to, here, get my next star. Book a photo shoot with him, and we'll, set it up and try to make it like Joe and make him really
I want to be your next Joe M.
Yeah.
I want to be your Joe M. Listen, I need those pictures that are going to get me that True Blood gig.
I mean,
come on. You've taken some of my best pictures of my life.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have stacks of printed pictures from you right on that shelf. We need to put together a photo shoot for the masses. We're going to put together something memorable, something that we can get to you guys, that Sonny and I collaborate on. You hear it first. This is MC on the mic exclusive. I'm not even asking Sonny if he wants to do it. He's going to do it. And I am going to be the new his way in, back into his photography, to his passion. We're going to come up with something wild. You did a photo shoot years ago of Mandy and I where we did like fake blood in our underwear. Like, it was like, I think before Mr. and Mrs. Smith came out, wasn't it?
I mean,
they might have based that movie off that photo shoot.
I mean, that was your wedding invitation. That was your wedding invitation. I couldn't go because, I mean, first I was young. I didn't know how to travel. I mean, I wasn't that young, but it was just, I was barely an adult, and like, I was just, they're like, oh, come to Florida. I'm like, I've never been to Florida, but okay.
It was an awesome like photo. It was basically like Mandy standing in front of me with like bruised and bloody knuckles, and my whole face like running down, like she just beat the crap out of me. It's one of my favorite pictures I've ever been given. I love it. I
mean, it was my favorite too. I mean, you were half naked, so that's...
Hey man, listen, I am just trying to be able to be half naked for somebody at this point in life. Like, that's all I'm trying to do is at 41 years old, I just want somebody to want me to be half naked. It just feels good to know that you can still take your shirt off and people don't laugh at you all the time,
I mean, if you ever book a HBO role or something like that,
I'm getting naked.
You'll be naked 95%.
I have a short window left in my naked appeal, so let's, you heard it. Sonny says, put me on the show where I can get naked, and that just might happen.
I mean,
I'm going to break out that clip.
You just have to, get viewers to, or just anyone to be like, okay, let's go back to, like, How to Get Away with Murder, and where he was...
Where's Peter Nowak, the showrunner from How to Get Away with Murder? Peter, I hope this finds you. This guy is the best, and he was so good to me on that show. What's he working on? We got to look him up. How to Get Away with Murder I was so lucky to be on that show.
I was obsessed with the show.
Me too.
Once you were on there, I was like, I know someone on there.
Do you know I watched the first season and got the audition the day I finished the first season, and I was like, shut up. I was so jacked up to have this audition, and then I went in the room and they booked me, and I was like, this is second only to Supernatural, because Supernatural has given me life. How to Get Away with Murder, that experience working with those young kids and Viola and just Alfie, astonishing group, an astonishing set to be on. And what a cool show.
Yeah.
Like, what a cool premise for a show. Like, just the law teacher, and then the chaos unfolds within the students. It's perfect. It was a perfectly carried out series.
But hey, maybe it'll come back. It's like right now, like how everyone's obsessed with Suits. Yeah. And that show been gone for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love that show. I mean, I used to watch like all the USA shows because it was on USA. It was like that plus Royal Pains and some other shows. Totally. But those shows were like really good. But now it's on, Netflix and Peacock and everything else. And now people are sitting down and watching it and enjoying it. And I'm like, I already enjoyed it like 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago.
No, but that's what it feels like. And it's a gift and a curse that shows are getting like second lives.
Right.
Because it's like, wow, all these fans, but it's like all these fans too late. If all these fans were attached earlier, perhaps that show would still be on the air.
That's why when they did the whole, at the Golden Globes, when the whole cast came out, everyone was like, the cast were like, okay, cool, thank you for rewatching our show, but we should have been here 10 years ago being like, hey, but, now it's, like we were talking about, social media is a whole different, I think it's a whole another beast. Yeah.
It's a beast. And you have to if you're going to be successful on social media, you got to do it like a job.
Yeah.
You have to do it 5 or 6 days a week. You got to post a few times a day on several different platforms to gain a following. And if you're going to commit to being an influencer, great. You have to commit to being an influencer. But if you think you're just going to be like a massively successful influencer on the side while we're doing something else, it's not. Like if you have another job, because it's taking away from your influencer job. It's really... Like I have the professional account on Instagram, and the amount of people that reach out to me daily for to do a story for their product is outrageous.
I mean, you should just do that just so you...
I want to do it. No, I want to do it, and I want to make some money, but there's only, I want to keep my authenticity, and so I want to make sure that I'm promoting products that I believe in. I want to make sure that I'm promoting foods that I would give to my children, my kid and my wife, I can't get behind something I don't believe in at this point in my life. I'm too old now to show up and just be like, hey, I'm the guy that supports the thing. No, I'm not. I'm not anymore. I'm a guy that supports a lot of good stuff and ethical stuff, but I don't just support everything for a paycheck. And that was, a way of life at one point, but it's just not anymore. So
that's like in their 20s.
Yes, 100%. Let's talk about the Grammys and Taylor Swift for a second, because we're already 45 minutes into this.
Okay.
And is the Grammys the best effing award show that ever existed? Were you able to watch it?
I watched it.
The speeches from Jelly Roll, Killer Mike winning all these awards and then getting arrested for a misdemeanor. Hold on a second. Can I just be political for a second? I'm sorry, everybody. The city of Los Angeles doesn't arrest anybody. There are people robbing stores, jewelry stores at gunpoint, taking your wristwatch off. You name it, you can do it in the city of Los Angeles and probably not get arrested for it. But if you're Killer Mike and win 3 Grammys and have a misdemeanor, which apparently was a physical altercation with somebody, you get your 3 Grammys and then you get arrested in handcuffs and walked out the building. Now, my question is this. How come he got arrested for exactly what Will Smith did and he was allowed to go right back to his seat? Hot take, I know. The only thing I could think of that happened to Killer Mike is everybody's doubling down on security so the Will Smith Oscars event doesn't happen again. And so that was the reason they arrested him and took him out of the building for a misdemeanor. I just don't know what's optics anymore and what's real. I'm confused when I see a guy like Killer Mike being, his name doesn't make it any easier.
Right.
Damn, Killer Mike sounds like, he's going to do something bad. But this guy is an artist. He is a cultural icon with his voice during the Black Lives Matter movement when that first took off was one of the most profound voices that you could listen to as a voice of reason and a voice of understanding. To drag that guy out of the building, I didn't love it. Especially for an award show that is so superb with some of the greatest speeches, greatest performances. Miley Cyrus, holy HE double hockey sticks, man. I'm a fanboy. Did you see her performance?
No, her performance phenomenal. Her speech was phenomenal. She was hilarious. I mean, she thanked the gays. Thank you.
But she right, like she knows. She knows where her support lies.
And I mean, okay, like, well, I didn't know. I mean, I knew someone got arrested. I don't know that person.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite rappers of all time. So maybe I'm biased and taking it a little personal. I apologize for calling out the whole city of Los Angeles.
I mean, to me, this whole. I mean, hey, I don't know half of the music people anymore than when I grew up. It was, I grew up where it was forced on us with like MTV videos and TRL.
But
and
how much do we
else.
miss our TRL, bro?
Oh my God. But I mean, when it got to, I know they tried to bring it back, but it was just a terrible.
I will host the shit out of a TRL session on MTV. MTV, let's bring it back.
Well,
the world needs music videos.
I mean, yeah. But they try to put it like, oh, now it's on demand and you can, watch it whenever you want to.
That takes the fun out of it. I like the fun of like just your vacuum in your house and then all of a sudden your favorite video comes on and you're dancing with the vacuum. That's what I miss.
Right. And then there's that interview right between that. Then you have the interaction with the fan and then talking about why they love that music video or that song. And now it's just like, and I don't think it's with that. We don't have that moment anymore because it's all about streaming and how many numbers, and it's all about business now.
Yes.
And
everybody's a capitalist.
I mean, same thing with Taylor Swift. I mean, she's a business,
a very large business.
I mean, I'm one of those people. I mean, I buy her sweaters. I'm when she drops something on her store, it's like, okay, add the cart. I mean, but that's her,
I love that, though.
I mean,
I love that too. Look, I'm a fanboy. I don't buy everything, but I'm constantly checking what she's doing.
Yeah.
I'm always like, what's Taylor up to? And it's not just because of the, the whole Travis Kelce relationship thing. Like, that is fun to me. I really, I'm tired of the NFL fans kind of going, oh, it's Taylor Swift, this and that. Like, this is fun. This is good for football.
If it was Beyonce or someone else, they would have been like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. But because it's Taylor Swift, it's like either you love her or you really hate her. And these people, these football fans are really just, quote unquote, want to watch football. But for us, especially the gays, they would be like, like when Beyonce did the halftime show, we were like, oh, we're here to watch a Beyonce concert. Yeah, there's some football in there, but it mostly was about the Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry concert, quote unquote.
Yeah. But it's the same thing with all the Super Bowl shows. I mean, the Super Bowl show is a big show that has some football in it at this point. The commercials are gigantic. There's huge stars in them. I mean, Rihanna on the floating platform with a baby in her belly. Could you ever imagine a more powerful moment, like on screen or being her experiencing that? Like, I get goosebumps thinking about the energy transfer between mother and baby when she was doing that performance. That's going to be a special baby because that baby got bodily chemicals released that no baby's ever experienced. That baby's going to rule the world, But I think Taylor Swift should run for president. I'm dead serious.
She
She takes on the big companies like Ticketmaster. She's not afraid of anybody. She seems to be, like content with challenging people that are doing wrong, and she speaks up obviously in her music when a relationship falls apart. Like, she's a very authentic person. I think Taylor Swift runs for president. I don't know.
I mean,
Travis Kelce for VP.
I wouldn't oppose to that. But I mean, she helped out so much in the music industry and everything else in between. I mean, like when Spotify didn't want to pay, or someone didn't want to pay.
Sure.
I mean, I shouldn't say Spotify, but and then it was like, and then Apple Music came in,
Yeah.
and then she did like, okay, well, I'm only gonna put it on Apple Music because they're paying more sense to the thing, because she wants to be noticed that it's not just about the singer, it's about the writers and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing now with her. Like, well, I'm going to direct my own music videos. I'm going to direct my own movies. I'm going to do what I need to do, because she wants to be more hands-on with any project she's in.
And she's an artist at the end of the day.
Yeah.
She's extremely capable to do anything she wants in any art form. Like,
Right.
let it be music, let it be film, let it be TV, let it be photography. She's let her shine. I mean, let's not hold the girl back. I think she's just started, what she's going to do.
Right. Have you ever interviewed her?
No, I haven't interviewed her. I didn't do the Grammys. The Grammys, I did the Oscars, but I never did the Grammys. So like I had a lot of the film people. I didn't get a lot of music people.
I mean, she was nominated for
A movie.
Emmy.
I saw her in a movie. I forget what it was called.
She was
killed in like 5 seconds. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. But she was believable, and I always like a movie where they'll kill a main character, or a series where like in the first 3 episodes one of the leads gets killed off, because I think it shows the commitment to telling a story, like it's like, listen, nobody's safe here, and that brings me back to a show, even if you love a character. They killed people off The Walking Dead that I was like, I'm never watching this show again, and then I had to be back to watching
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think of like This Is Us with.
I couldn't watch that show past the 3rd episode.
Why? Because I
can't do that. I can't. Do you understand? I am an emotional being. I cannot sit down to enjoy some TV and then cry my face off 3 episodes in a row. I never watched another episode after episode 3, and it's only because it was so good. I couldn't take it. My emotions couldn't be gutted like that. Couldn't be. I interviewed the sweetest woman ever that played, I believe, Justin Hartley's sister.
Christy.
Yeah, she was doing like a fun reality show, and I got to talk to her, and what just a presence she is. She's just so badass. Awesome. But Justin Hartley's got a new show. He's got a Tracker, I want to say it's called, a CBS show. I think they're getting behind it pretty heavy. He should be great at it. I think he's tracking down people or something. I know a couple of the directors on it. Anyways, how can the people find you out there? If they're looking to book a photo shoot, if they're looking to follow you on socials, tell them where to find you.
So my main photo Instagram would be S Tong photo.
That's S as in Sally, Ton as in Nancy, G as in Gina, S Tong.
S Tong photo, all in one. And then I do it on my personal, but that would be my main one, just to focus on just photography, because I don't like to have put my personal stuff with my business, but it comes with it.
It comes with it now. You're on my podcast. We're talking about all sorts of personal shit on here.
But yeah, podcasting would be including everything else. But yeah, that would be, but yeah, I've talking about that, like most of my work is through either that Instagram or just word of mouth, or got it from, I saw a picture of Joe.
Yeah. Well, listen, we have some marching orders after this podcast. We need to set you up a way where people can reach out to you and talk to you about booking photography, whether it be a website or make it easier for people to contact you through Instagram. Maybe you have an email address that you put out publicly or something like that. But I want to help you level up and get you back into this photo thing. You and I are going to do a photo shoot. We're going to do your first podcast. He already ordered his Shure mics and his Zoom H6 audio recorder. You can thank me, non-sponsors, for selling your product for free. But he's going to be sounding right and tight. We're going to figure out exactly how to put your podcast together, and I'm going to just help you with it along the way. I need an awesome photo shoot, so This is not me being completely selfless. I'm being a little selfish here. but you've always taken care of me, so I'm going to take care of you. And that's the end of the story, I think.
It's fine with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is MC on the mic with my good buddy, Sonny Tong, photographer extraordinaire. Pay attention to what he's doing and look out for our latest release together. It's going to come in the podcast video version with sound as well as some sort of wacky photography. I don't know if we're making posters or calendars or what we're doing, but we're doing something. All right, everybody, peace out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.